name's Janelle and welcome back to Rosery Apparel. In this video, I'm going to be sharing everything that I made for my Me Made wardrobe in 2022. I film one of these roundup videos every single year and they are one of my favourite videos to make because who doesn't love bragging about the clothes they've made? And it is honestly so satisfying to see everything I made throughout the year nicely on one rack like this. And also throughout the year, I've shared a video or tutorial for just about everything I'm going to be sharing in this video. And I'll make sure to have a nice chunky list of all the links down in the description below this video. So if you did want to make any of these items for your own wardrobe, you can do that. So without further ado, let's get into it and let's start by talking about the dress I'm wearing, which I have to say is one of my favorite dresses I've made this year. And the reason I love this dress so much is it has so many fun details. It's got this pleated detailing along the front. It's also got a ruffled neckline, some puffy short sleeves, and then it also has this full tiered gathered skirt with quite a high empire style waistline, which just makes for a really unusual silhouette and is just such a fun, floaty and super comfortable dress to wear. Another one of my favorite dresses that I've made this year is this sage green midi length dress. I made this dress kind of pattern hacking a vintage sewing pattern. It is this style pattern here, style 4322. And what I love about this dress is it's very different to my usual go-to style. It's quite a form-fitted dress, which I definitely need to be in the mood to wear, and it has to be the right time of the month to wear as well. It's again got some really lovely details to it. It has a ruffled neckline, some lovely shirred puffy sleeves. And I also remembered to add this cute little slit into the skirt of the dress as well, which is just going to be so lovely and floaty to wear during the summertime. This next item I also used a vintage sewing pattern for. It was another style pattern actually, style 3915. The reason I was so keen to have a go at making this vintage pattern was because of this insanely beautiful, massive collar. As you can see, it goes around the back as well. I have been very much into this whole big collar trend that is definitely happening at the moment. And I had this beautiful textured green cotton fabric in my stash for the longest time. And so I decided to whip it out for this project. And honestly, I don't think this blouse would have turned out even half as beautiful as it did if it wasn't for the fabric. The next item I have to show isn't an item of clothing, but it is my first ever proper quilt. One of my goals this year was to have a go at making my own quilt. I've never really been a quilt person. I've never even really been interested in trying quilting before, but I was really inspired by the brand Project Itany, I think is how you pronounce it. And they are most well known for their beautifully made quilts. And I decided to have a go at making a diamond quilt inspired by one of their designs. But I honestly could not be happier with how it turned out. It is my dream quilt. This next item is also made with a vintage pattern, and it is this really lovely cord mini skirt. I actually used another style pattern to make this skirt as well, style 2422, and I also used the prettiest corduroy fabric that I picked up from Spotlight. The only thing I'm not crazy about with this skirt is the fact that the zipper is exposed. If I was to make it again, I would make it so that it had a proper kind of flap to cover up the zip, just because when I wear it you can really notice if it's starting to come undone and things like that. But it's really only a small problem and I'm not sure, it might even be fixable. I haven't really looked into trying that yet. Next up, I have a dress that I made from a $5 bedsheet. The bedsheet itself was just this really simple cream grid print, which I think is just such a classic print. It actually reminded me of some of the Merchant & Mills fabrics, and if you know Merchant & Mills, they are like very much on the expensive end of the fabric spectrum. And from the bedsheet, I decided to make a pattern hack of my Hazel sewing pattern. It basically just has a V-neck and is super loose fitting, that way you can just throw it right on. You don't have to have a zip or anything. It also has these cute little tie-up straps so you can tighten them or loosen them as much as you like, and it has a huge maxi length skirt with a ruffled hem, which I think is just so pretty. This next dress is one of the most special pieces I made this year, and that is this patchwork dress. I used my Rosa pattern to make the actual dress itself, and what I decided to do was kind of merge two different fabrics together. They are both secondhand fabrics, and I just think the two clashing patterns together just work so nicely. Definitely wasn't a quick make. First you have to kind of quilt all of the fabric together, and then you actually have to go about making the dress, so it's kind of like two projects in one. But I just think it was so worth all of the effort because I have now got this beautiful quilted dress, which I just think is so unusual and completely different to anything I've ever seen before. Next, I have another special piece. I kind of feel like every piece I've made is special, but this next one is just, I am so proud of it. I still can't believe I managed to make it. It is this stunning smocked sleeve dress. So just like with the quilting, another goal of mine this year was to learn how to do smocking, which is this really lovely traditional embroidery you can do on clothing to add a little bit of interest, but the stitching also makes the fabric stretchy as well. It's just such a special method that has kind of like gone out of style in a big way, but I feel like it's definitely going to be coming back. This top was in no way a quick make. All up, it took me well over 30 hours to complete, and it has this really cute floral ditzy print, which I kind of took inspiration from when I chose the colours for the actual smocking. Yeah, I'm just so proud of this project. I made a video all about the process, and honestly, it's one of my favourite videos I've ever made. I'm just so in love with how this top turned out, and yeah, I hope to see some of you attempt to do some smocking in the future as well, because it is just such a lovely craft. As well as trying quilting and smocking for the first time this year, I also managed to make a pair of trousers for the first time ever as well. I'm definitely not a trouser person. I have a pretty small waist but quite large hips, and so trousers just never quite work for my body type. But I purchased a pattern. It's the Handmade pattern by the fabric store, and when I actually purchased it, the lady who was serving me said that she made them and she has never been a trouser person whatsoever, and she said she's now converted because of this pattern. And I was like, great, I'm gonna give it a go. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work, but at least I tried. And honestly, these pants, I'm obsessed. I have to say, since wearing them a lot, unfortunately it has started to like stretch in the waist a little bit, which means they are getting a little bit too big in the waist, but luckily the Handmade has belt loops, which means I can just wear a belt with it, and that should fix the problem fine. It's got the belt loops, like I said, it's got the little pocket within the pocket at the front, pockets at the back as well, and one of my favourite features about these pants is the fact that I used some cute floral fabric in the pockets. Obviously you can't really see that, so no one's gonna know it's there, but I know it's there, and I just love that little detail so much. Next, I have my first knitting project of the year to show you. I actually only just finished it last night. It is such a lovely chunky jumper. It's actually called the Christie jumper by Cardigang. I was very kindly sent a kit to make the Christie jumper by Cardigang, and I was so excited about it because I've been wanting to try one of their kits for the longest time. I opted for a peaches and cream colour combo. It's got this lovely pop of peach at the bottom of the jumper, and I just had so much fun knitting this project up because of the chunky yarn and the fact that you use really chunky needles. It knitted up really quickly, and I am kind of sad it's finished now, but I'm also equally just as excited to start wearing it. It's actually quite cold here in Tassie at the moment, which I'm sad about because it is technically summer, but at least for this week I'm gonna be able to wear this jumper, which is exciting. I'm actually going to lay it down on my table now though, because you're not technically meant to hang knitted items off clothes hangers like this. So next up, I have a dress that I made with my one and only sewing pattern that I brought out this year, the pansy dress. This example of the pansy dress is the short skirt, short sleeve version. And what I love about the pansy dress is it has this cute little keyhole tie-up detail at the back, which means you don't need to put a zip in. You can just put it on over the top of your head. You don't need anyone to zip you in. And because of that, I like to call this dress my perfect everyday dress. It's quite an oversized fit as well, which I absolutely love. I just think it's such a comfortable dress. I made this dress using some lovely cotton fabric that I picked up from Spotlight. I am obsessed with it. It is just like the cutest pastel check fabric that I've ever seen. Next, I have this amazing pink coat. Basically, I wanted to add something fun into my wardrobe for the winter months because I get a little bit down in winter. I find it quite miserable, and so I thought, what better way to cheer myself up than to make myself a lovely pink coat. And to make this project even more fun, I decided to add this super bright lining on the inside. It also has these pockets at the front, and then I also added some welt pockets to the front as well, which are like perfect for just putting your hands in when it's really cold. I am just so pleased with this coat, and I just know it's going to be something that I'm going to pull out every winter for many, many years to come. This next dress I have to share is actually a thrift flip. I bought this really over-the-top 80s style dress at a vintage shop slash thrift shop, and the reason I was so drawn to the original dress was because of this beautiful kind of burgundy floral print. It also had some lovely sleeves, which I actually ended up getting rid of. I just feel like it was a little bit too over the top with the sleeves and this fabric. I personally like it a lot better now that I've gotten rid of the sleeves. I have really loved layering this dress as well, with turtlenecks and t-shirts underneath. Next up, I have another version of my pansy pattern. This one is the long sleeve, long skirt version, which I have to say is probably my preferred version of the pansy dress. I just love a midi length dress, and I feel like the long sleeves are just super comfortable as well. It's linen, which is just one of my all-time favorite fabrics to work with, and it's also gingham, which is one of my favorite prints. Next, I have another gingham number, but this one is a skirt. It's actually a really lovely tiered skirt that is self-drafted, and I've shared the whole process of making this skirt based off your measurements. Gathered skirts are like one of my all-time favorite things to wear, and so I've been getting a lot of wear out of this skirt since it's gotten a bit warmer, and I just am so happy with it. I think it's such a good addition to my wardrobe. Next, I have another burnt orange number. This one is such a cute dress that I have to say I have kind of forgotten about. I made this dress by kind of duplicating a dress I already owned that was in a fabric I wasn't the biggest fan of, and so I decided to make it in this lovely burnt orange cotton fabric. What I love about this dress is it has this square neckline with super puffy sleeves, and it also has this panel of shirring at the back, which just makes it really comfortable because it kind of like stretches with you, if that makes sense. Next up, I have two turtlenecks that I made using the Rise and Fall pattern by Paper Cut Patterns. I made this one here out of some ribbed cotton jersey fabric from the fabric store, and this one here is made from some merino fabric from A&R Fabrics. The Rise and Fall pattern is a brilliant pattern as well. It literally took me about an hour to make each of these tops. The only thing I will say is I think I much prefer the non-rolled neck. So I think what I'm going to do is actually unpick it and make it just into a like non-rolled neckline like this. I just think it's much more my style and it feels a lot more comfortable around the neck for me personally as well. Next up, I have another coat project I worked on this year. This one though was so much fun because I ended up making it from a retro blanket, and it is a very bold coat. Not gonna lie, it is super bright, and again, this project just brought me so much joy during those miserable winter months. I definitely have to be in the mood to wear this coat because it is so bright and out there and people are going to look at you for sure. And just like my pink coat, I decided to go with a fun lining on the inside and went with this super cute mustard gingham fabric. Alright, we're getting to the last few items now. Next, I have this lovely floral skirt, and I ended up making this skirt out of some lovely chocolate brown floral fabric. It's just a tiny little rose print which I just fell in love with. I think it's so cute. It's just such a fun style, and it also has pockets, which, by the way, pretty much every single dress or skirt I've shared in this video has pockets. But yeah, there's not much else to say about this skirt. It's really simple. It's got buttons all the way down the front and I'm in love with it. Next, I have another big collar item. This dress is actually a pattern hack of my Rosa pattern, and I am just so in love with how it turned out. I love the fact that the collar itself has this contrasting ruffle all along it, and this dress in particular was my go-to autumn dress. And it also has these lovely long sleeves with some shirring at the end, which just gives it a nice little bit of kind of a ruffle to it. And I just loved styling this dress with a pair of tights and my Doc Marten boots. It was just, like I said, the classic autumn vibe. Next, I have my second knitted item for the year. I also made this cardigan with a kit by We Are Knitters. It's called the Hackney cardigan, and I again was very kindly gifted this kit. This one took me a lot longer to make just because it is made up on thinner yarn and thinner needles. I love the fact that this cardigan is just a simple grey colour as well, because it literally goes with everything in my wardrobe. Next up, I have a dress that I made. I think this was the very first dress I made this year actually, and it is a pattern hack of my Hazel pattern. What I was trying to do with this dress was to make a kind of asymmetrical waistline, and I love how it turned out. I definitely think it would have been a bit more effective if I had used just some plain fabric. You would have really noticed that asymmetrical waistline a lot better. But in saying that, I'm obsessed with this buffalo check linen fabric that I got, and I think it's made up into such a nice dress. And the last dress I have to share with you is this lovely ditzy shirt dress. Basically, I saw a dress on Instagram that I fell in love with, and I decided to have a go at making something similar for myself. And what I love about this dress is the fact that it, like I said, is kind of like a shirt style. So it's got just a pretty basic collar with a button up front, but then the skirt itself is tiered. It kind of really fans out when you twirl, which is really fun. It's also got nicely cuffed sleeves and a bit of elastic in the waistline too, which again just makes it so comfortable. It cinches it all in and it's just a very flattering dress. I'm actually surprised just how much I've ended up wearing this dress. It's honestly one of my go-to dresses when I go out for dinner and things like that. It's just super comfortable, super easy to wear, but it's quite a high impact dress. So yeah, that is everything I made for my wardrobe during 2022. It has just been such a big year of sewing. I am honestly so proud when I step back and have a look at everything I've managed to achieve this year. I'm really proud of myself as well that I've managed to branch out and try a lot of new different skills as well. Let me know in the comments below which of these makes is your favourite. I can never just pick one favourite, but I will try and narrow it down to just 3. I think definitely one of my favourite makes of the year is this one here, the smocked top. I just still can't believe I managed to make this. I don't think I've ever been prouder of a make before, and it may not look like much, but so much love and effort went into this top, and I just think it's the cutest thing ever. I also think I have to pick my quilt. I am just so, again, proud of this make. It has also got a lot of work in it, and I just think it is the cutest quilt I've ever seen, even if I do say so myself. And then the last item I think I'll choose is, oh, it's really hard because I really do love my pansy dresses, but I think I need to choose my pink coat. I'm just obsessed. I think it is so fun. It was such a exciting project to work on during winter, and yeah, I'm just in love with it. So this is actually going to be my last video of the year. I definitely need a break from sewing. And yeah, I'm just so grateful that you have enjoyed all the videos that I put out this year. It just really means so much to me. And because of you, I get to do what I love every single day. And for that, I am just so grateful. Like I said, I'll have a chunky list down in the description below of all the videos and tutorials I've shared throughout the year, if you did want to make any of these items for your own wardrobe. I hope you have a lovely and safe Christmas, and I will see you again in the new year.